This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code PG at manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code PG at manscaped.com. That's 20% off free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code PG. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. What's up, everybody? I'm back for another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is Kosha Dillz. Kosha, how's it going?
Good, bro. Sorry, I feel like I'm just like I started out yawning. I'm out of it. I just got the vaccine, so I feel like pulverized. But I'm dressing to impress, bro. Average to savage.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I'm trying to go average to legendary, but yeah, average to savage is the first step.
I like that. I like that. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I know we've known each other for a few months now. You wrote the Average Savage song for me. It's fire. I semi-released it. I didn't officially release it yet, but maybe I'll release it with the episode and it'll be boom.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, dude. Well, listen, bro. I love it.
Yeah.
You use some of it, and that's how this songs is. Like you get a big song, and they use 7 seconds in like the hit show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you got this great, and then everyone finds out the song. So I'm happy to be part of it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, just going back in your background, you grew up in New Jersey. Could you just give me a little bit more background and then how you got into music?
Yeah, so I grew up in New Jersey. I'm Jersey born and raised. My whole family immigrated from Israel in the 70s. I was born in 81 and grew up Edison, New Jersey, home of Gary Vaynerchuk, and I think a couple other great people as well. And, I grew up playing soccer and wrestling. Wrestling was my thing. I wrestled from the age of 8 to the age of 20 in college, going all the way up to, Rutgers for, a scholarship for wrestling, to be part of that wrestling team. And being part of like the athletic NCAA, Division I community is a big thing.
Yeah.
And, the rapping stuff sort of happened sort of in high school. I loved wrestling. I loved fighting one-on-one with people. And that sort of led to rap battles, and rap battles was the thing. There were no shows. You just battled other people at a rap battle, and you were on stage for your 2 minutes, and you get off, and you wait for the next turn, for the next rounds. And that's how I kind of got started, really. Yeah. Battles, writing for battles back in the day, and freestyling, and to the point where I started releasing music in like 2005 all the way up till today. And, in between there was, I have a story of like jails and addiction. I got sober at 22. I'm turning 23, but like my life was definitely rough in those, I would say, like after high school and pre getting sober. And, just navigating in the world of music of what I always really wanted to do. And that was to be on stage and like say my piece and tell my story.
For sure. So you stopped wrestling at 20, like while you were in college, and then is that when you picked up music?
Yeah, like I was rapping, like I had started battling. I was 17 and 18, and I was a kid on the wrestling team that like rapped. And I was going, on the weekends to places like open mics in New York City, and New Jersey and New Brunswick, and just getting familiar in the rap scene. You know what I mean? Just like making a name for myself. At the time, I was going by KD Flow. I was originally named Kosha Dillz, just like straight up Kosha Dillz. And then people had made fun of me. And then the next time I went on stage, I changed it to KD Flow. And so that's what we could roll with. And from there, after I got, sober and came out of jail and shit, like the idea was, all right, I'm gonna really embrace Kosha Dillz, which was like partly sexual, partly Jewish, partly, you know, my heritage, and then also like a hustler street guy too. So I had the A instead of the ER, and Z instead of the S. And, you know, I loved, you know, and that's what hip hop was about. It's like, you know, the double, you know, the triple meanings, double meanings of stuff. So yeah, man.
Who were your like inspirations, like music wise?
You know, so I grew up rapping with this kid, Yak Balls. If you get to listen to his music, he's just a legendary rapper. And like, I kind of grew up on this group called Cannibal Ox, which is like by LP from Run the Jewels, had a record label called Def Jux. And like, my dream was to be on this label. It's like, you know, my first single was a song called Chainsaw Music, which is like, you know, horrorcore rap was a thing. So, besides like Biggie Smalls and Tupac and you know, that was like my core hip hop and Wu-Tang, right? Because Edison's like 30 minutes from Staten Island. Mm-hmm. You then have, you know, like the first CD I bought was Original Gun Clappers from Duck Down Records. So this was like very New York, Brooklyn hip hop at 17. And then also had this kind of little flair of like Shock G from Digital Underground. And I really loved, like, I loved that kind of like pop flair and kind of like quirkiness, which has become a big part of my style of making really like kind of just weird, cheesy stuff, but making it dope. And then sort of going into now where, you know, a lot of the people that influence me are like my friends, my coworkers, you know, people that I find randomly on the street or playing. And, you know, I'm always searching for inspiration. But at the core of it, you know, Wu-Tang was really like a huge foundation for what I, you know, grew up with, and Biggie Smalls and stuff like that. And then it changed into those three things, you know, the hustle mentality of like Jada Kiss and the Lox and like hustling drugs, to like Modest Yahoo in the Jewish aspect when I first met him and played with him in like 2004, 2005. And then also going back to like the horrorcore Jewish gangster stuff of like Necro and Nonfiction and Ill Bill. So it's like all these things, and I find my place like in the middle of that, you know what I mean? And you know, I made it a point to be out there to get inspired. Like I didn't just sit at home. Like I went to the stores, I went to the shows, I went to the pop-ups, and that's, you know, what was moving me, you know, because then you couldn't really just be online.
Yeah, that's what my next point was going to be. So how did you get yourself out there, because you were in the pre-social media age?
I mean, the New York City, there was something called the ughh.com message boards, and there was AOL chat rooms, right? I was rapping since 98, 99, 2000. You know, there were chat rooms. And in 2005, MySpace came out and you could upload songs. And I mean, you were getting thousands and thousands of plays. This is before SoundCloud. And you just spend hours on this thing. It was just bewildering that you could be on your phone for hours, right? Mm-hmm. I remember like getting a message from Redman on MySpace. Like I just, you know, certain things I remember. I remember, you know, having to get off MySpace because it took over like my entire life, you know what I mean? And I was like getting sober, off probation, going to like 12-step meetings and like just messaging people on MySpace like all day, and like delivering pizza and trying to figure out how to go back to college like as a felon, you know what I mean? Again. And MySpace was the platform from 2005 to like 2010. And then out of nowhere came Twitter. And Twitter became a thing where I started traveling into the world of tech. And that's when I met Gary Vaynerchuk in like 2010, you know? So it was just a little bit of a change from there and Facebook. And, you know, then it graduated to Instagram.
Yeah. So what would you say like was your like breakthrough? I know you've done a bunch of things for like big companies. You've been in the NBA 2K video game. Like, tell me, like, what was your breakthrough?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first breakthrough I really had was when I decided that I was going to go full time and book a tour. And I booked a show. I was studying at like a yeshiva because they had like, I don't know, it was just like I was able to move out of my house and move into this place. And I was like, okay, I'll live here and I will I will book a tour with my boy, who they were really looking up to me at the time, these Jewish kids, and they helped me. And I booked a show in like Sacramento and like Pittsburgh. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to fill it in. And then someone from MySpace actually booked me at like a synagogue. And I was starting getting like these gigs as like the Jewish rapper. And I was like, yo, I mean, you know, they were able, like, you know, non-venues, like, you know, events or organizers or people that are from nonprofits could pay thousands of dollars for someone to come, versus like the other place you have to sell the tickets or the money's not there. Yeah. So I was, you know, that was that first tour. And then in 2009, I won the Hot 97 rap battle and I got like a promo record deal. But like that really kind of put me out and then got me on tour with Modest Yahoo. And then things just started falling into place. South by Southwest was huge because I had rapped for Gary Vaynerchuk there. I've met every rapper there basically, and in the scene. And like, you know, I mean, I'm talking from the cool kids to meeting Paul Rosenberg, you know, just getting the meeting, getting the picture, getting, you know, starting to document the process. I mean, I was documenting things since iPhone 4, since Blackberries. I mean, you know what I mean? So if you think about it, and all these videos of like 100 views and 500 views and 300 views, and it just cements you as somebody who, this is what you do, you know? And along the way, like the biggest financial jump for me was a Super Bowl commercial in 2012 with Bud Light. I had like $150 in my bank account. I recorded the song at like a rest stop in Colorado with like a $12 you have to pay like $12 to go into the bathroom. I had a really shitty mic. My old roommate, Lonnie, he was like, you should buy a recording system. So I bought a system so I could record on the road. This was like unheard of. Like you're just packing up your recording equipment in 2012, like, and just recording on the road. And that changed my life. I mean, it was like 100 million people watching the game. It was played in like playoffs, everything. It was, you know, 9 years ago. And I made enough money from that to like really like get my own place, just level up to a point where I was like, yeah, I had more money. I made more money than my dad, you know what I'm saying, that year. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Yeah. And what I would think back to all that, it was like the big break is that like, when you do have a big break, it's really important to have the proper things in place to really leverage that, you know? And, you know, in some cases I did, in some cases I didn't, but, you know, I'm still here, still doing it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Then how did the 2K thing come about? You were in the game.
Yo, it's crazy. So like they worked with Duck Down Records, which is like a, you know, underground rap label with like, you know, Buckshot and Smith and Wesson and just sort of like Sean Price, rest in peace. Like these is legendary characters of New York. And I say characters, hip hop artists, you know, from the 90s, you know, that are still just legendary figures. And they were like curating a song. So I entered a contest to get my song in it. I took like second or third place. I remember recording this song. It was about like, you know, basketball or something like that. I hope to find this song actually, now that I think about it. And I was in South by Southwest at a venue called the Scoot Inn. Scoot Inn is sort of like off the beaten path. And I had tons of posters for shows I was playing, but it still had my name on the poster. So I said, listen, the show already happened, but I got them. So why don't I just put them up everywhere so people could say like, oh, I missed that show. Oh, who's that guy? I wish, you know, I could check him out. And while I was passing out flyers and posters for a show that already happened on a picnic table, some guy goes, oh, word, like, are you one of these guys? I'm like, yeah, I'm Kosha Dillz. It's like, that's crazy. I work at 2K. We should link up. And we should do, like, get you in, like, you lost the thing, but we should like get you in a game. So I was passing out like old material for something that had no relevance because it was like in the past. It would be like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just, but it's different. Like you share an old podcast, but you don't share an old flyer that already happened unless it's like a throwback there, you know, whatever. Yeah. And doing that got me the conversation. And then he's like, all right, send the pictures. You got to send, you know, have somebody take 7 pictures. And then it got me into the game where I was like, you know, this balding rapper, you know what I'm saying? That like I was like, yeah, they made me extra bald. And, you know, that was at the times where I was like, man, I was still like dealing with my hair loss. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, growing up, I love my head. Yeah. But yo, it was epic. And I made myself the same height, same everything. I sold millions of games, sold millions. And people know me from that all over the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then going back to the Super Bowl commercial, are you a Giants fan?
Um, I'm not a Giants fan. I'm actually Eagles fan.
Oh, all right. Because I was gonna say
Mm,
that must have been crazy if you were a Giants fan. They won the Super Bowl that year. You were on the commercial.
yeah, yep. But like I'm not really a good fan. You know what I'm saying? Like I picked the Eagles because I was in high school. It was the Edison Eagles. And I knew, everyone liked the Giants. So I was like, I'll like the Eagle.
Yeah,
I don't know. So I just picked them. There was no exact reason why I picked them.
yeah. No, I feel you. All right, now coming up to like present day now. You've been killing it for the past few months since I've known you, pretty much since we met on Clubhouse, which is funny.
Yeah.
You opened up my mind too to things like that. Like I never thought about like rappers like branding themselves with other brands like Bud Light and all that stuff like that. Like, and then I was just like, and then when I looked you up and I was like, all right, you got a shit ton of these on here. So I was like, all right, that's lit. And then that's how I asked you to do my song. So I had
Yeah.
to do that. So
I mean, it's, we got to think outside the box. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like there's no shows. How often do you do shows?
Yeah.
And, people just love hip hop, and how could we make it all, connect?
Yeah, for sure. And then just tell me about, I know you went viral like a few times this past December, January, whenever it was. Tell me about that, like, and you got on the news and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as you see, I got this derby, right? Boom. So when it was snowing, I went in the blizzard and I rapped on Hanukkah, because obviously I'm like, Hanukkah's a popular Jewish holiday that like everybody like will share something for it, even if they're not Jewish or anything, just like New York, and New York is like in there. And I got picked up by some place called Green Pointers, and then this website, What is New York, posted me, who also does Subway Creatures, I think too. So it's like kind of like a conglomerate of like meme pages and micro influenced areas. And I went viral from that. And then I like did something like rapping about Chinese food on Christmas, Jews and Chinese food. It was like fun things that would like fit the Kosha Dillz brand. And that got like almost 200,000 views on Twitter. And then, I did a bagel song, and I'm like, okay, now we're like, what are we doing? We're doing National Pizza Day, National Bagel Day. And, I had just dropped an album, and I'm like, no one's listened to the album, but I'm getting everyone to the album from giving them this.
Yeah.
And, it's what I realized, that like, there's so much of this stuff. And so for Passover, similar to Hanukkah, I'm like, all right, this is starting to work. Let me do Moses. And Moses has become like its own character, who is just, Moses all year round. And I did a rap with the Pharaoh, and I got like 500,000, but probably got up to like, around 1 million to all the pages. And I never went viral until this December like that. I never had my own thing. I mean, I've gone up, I've been on collabs, but not my own stuff. And it's common, to get 100,000, 50,000, 30,000, 20,000, and on so many different areas. You know what I mean? I have my freestyle rap, I have my music videos, I got my like just Jewish content. So for holidays. And I think what I realized is the more I go out there, New York celebrates Renegade raw. Like that's specifically to New York, definitely to the East Coast. And it's something I didn't experience in LA.
Mhm.
So, if that's what they want and that's who I am, that makes it easier for me, because I was going to do it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And then what has there been any new opportunities that came from that?
Yeah, like you said, you saw me rapping in the blizzard. I got in the New York Post, you know what I mean? And I met people from there. I did the bagel rap, and I just did collaborations with TiVo, like straight up real brand deals with like major multi-million dollar corporations that are, and some of the other just the collaborations, like from What is New York to New York Nico. These guys have like, they celebrate the raw. And anything I do is like a television interview, Good Morning America, Revolt TV. I'm expressing my voice, being authentic to myself, and leveling up to another level I did not experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, I think being authentic is the most important part, because ultimately people could say things about you. And if you're an actor, that is speaking somebody else's lines that were written for you, then you have a problem. But like in the world of music, especially when people are, you know, writing things, like people can say whatever about they want about the Moses character. They could, but like it's something I created and I made it and it's gone viral and it's only been around for 2 months. And I just did the Knicks game and you know what I mean? And everything I'm doing is always getting tens of thousands of views as it. So, you know, I'm going to take it all the way to like Rolling Loud. And I wanted to go to, you know, Coachella, and I wanted to go to Bonnaroo, and I wanted to go to Governor's Ball. And like some, because why not, right? And it's like new and there's people that are behind it because they want to see it win, you know what I mean? And I think like as artists and creators, we have to come up with something that gets you excited and makes you want to share it and get behind it without me asking you to get behind it, right?
Yeah.
And that's the key. And that's what I've never experienced that till this past couple months. So like from December to May, which has been half a year, it's been, my life is like the amount of followers I've got, everything is really exciting.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then just tell me about a little bit how like Clubhouse helped you too. And I know you've been doing a lot of talks like about Judaism and Jewish people and stuff like that.
Yeah. So like on Clubhouse, there's like Holocaust I mean, not just in Clubhouse, but there's Holocaust Remembrance Day, which was in January. We brought the first ever Holocaust survivors on Clubhouse. One, there's just a huge thing, you know, like someone from Saudi Arabia could join somebody from California, Connecticut, Mexico, Venezuela. And I mean, there's no even platform for Holocaust survivors that are like dying off every day. Like in 20 years, we're not going to have Holocaust survivors. You know, maybe there'd be one left that was a babe, you know. And you have to think about that. This is like a last living testament. And if I could be influential in doing this instead of going to like how to invest in Dogecoin, which is also a great thing to do. It's also a great community. Like there's a community for this, and thousands of people came on to see this. So on our first time, we had, you know, Lupe Fiasco came in. We had, you know, like, and these are people that have been accused of like being anti-Semitic, had the opportunity to come in and hear it. I mean, there are people that were from Arab states and nations that never got to speak to a Holocaust survivor, people from South America. And I think it's super important. We had articles in NBC. I was mentioned in Time magazine. I mean, and that's just from doing stuff without even wanting like press, you know, like we assume that people will write it up and, you know, but I didn't ask anyone from Time magazine to mention me in the article, but like they talked about what we did. And, you know, Variety magazine, like all these places knew that what you're doing is legendary. And I think for me, I realized that this past 6 months since being in New York and like getting the confidence, like my music, I got on like the dating world, any aspect of it. When you put yourself out there and don't care what people think or how they're going to respond, you're going to make so many big leaps. And that has been my experience, man. Like I cannot imagine it. And some of the stuff you do doesn't always hit, right? Yeah. But if you know there's a need for it, it's party time, bro. Yeah. And I love, the best part about working with Holocaust survivors is that you realize that they're just people too. They don't always want to talk about being a survivor, you know? Yeah. So to create that experience for this guy, Sammy, and for other people like Inga, and just, you know, like to tell their story, because you can't go into a museum anymore with 1,000 people to listen. And fact is, 1,000 people that are going to come probably won't be from all different backgrounds. They'll probably all be Jewish, or it's going to be like a group outing. So Clubhouse is a great way to meet people from all over the world, different backgrounds, having the opportunity to share, you know, and in doing things like that, connect people back to the music. And people meet me from serious stuff. They meet me from rapping in Blizzard to rapping as Moses to, you know, rapping outside the Knicks games, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think is cool about just like your story, is because like, obviously you have like the serious stuff too, which is like just totally different than your rap career, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then, so it's like almost showing like, obviously you're a human too, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Just like, I don't know, probably like you said, and then it gains you more fans also at the same time.
Yeah, I think like people have to also, like, when you're in music, right? I was like, are you just going to make music, or are you also going to speak on some things too? And like someone I really look up to, you know, I don't agree with everything he says, but like Killer Mike is someone who's done music forever. He's been really successful. And then he started a new group, right? Run of Jewels, which became more successful than anything he did. And I was going to his solo shows and there was like 100 people there. I mean, there wasn't even tons of people there in New York. I remember that. And then seeing him speak on things that he just feels passionate about. And that all works together, right? Because people now have such easy access to a musician. If the musician doesn't contact them back, they're like, people think they're a dick, right? So when you put out content and you're like, I'm against bigotry, and then you get 20,000, you know, retweets, you're like, well, you know, like just certain, you know, I could just say stuff that's like important to people and helps them get through their day. It doesn't always have to be a rap, a verse, a rap, a verse. But what we were taught when we came in was we were taught a specific way, but now we have to be ready to adapt at any given moment, right? We have to be able to speak on things. We have to be able to show up for other people, be helpful, and it has to be authentic too. And I think like that's why, you know, Killer Mike's done so good, is because he's authentic to his own self, things that he cares about, and people listen to him, and that sort of transfers over to multiple aspects of what he does in his whole career. Like I'm doing pickles. I'm gonna have a call today about my own, like doing a pickle collab with Grillo's. Shout out to Grillo's. And I did stuff with his baseball team, the Portland Pickles, and just being Kosha Dillz, like pickles is a thing. And it's a huge business too. Yeah, so why can't food and music and bagels all go together? Yeah. And podcasting and, you know, interviewing other people and giving them platforms, having Holocaust survivors speaking on being Israeli, American, Palestine, all that stuff together, plus your other stuff, even those things. And this is like so key for anyone listening. If you want to be a pundit on one topic, but you're in like a certain area, but you don't have like clout in your own field, like the things that you're passionate about, you should have clout in your own field, and it kind of leverages each one up and levels everything up, because people will take you more seriously because of the work you've accomplished in one field. They'll value opinion more when you get a chance to speak on something else. And I think they all go hand in hand together. You know what I mean? Yeah,
for sure. And then what's up next for you? Like, what are your plans for any new projects?
Yeah, man, I'm just like, you know, I just have this new music video out with Gangsta Boo, which is really awesome. It's going to space with Dogecoin, and I releasing a new summer song with this guy Jenya from Israel and Russia, and he's just like, we just got like a nice summer bop. We have so I have like a music video for that, music video for Isn't Me. I'm performing everywhere around New York City right now. Every day a different iconic spot while the city is coming back, and just trying to do more things like that. My main goal right now with the street performing is to do a sold out show in New York City that's basically from the streets to the stage. And for all the people that were performing on the street, we're going to go sell out a show at a venue like Bowery Ballroom or Gramercy and have 600, 500 people there, supporting like the real authentic grind. And I believe personally for me that I've never felt more accomplished than now. And, people think, oh, wow, he's like rapping on the street. Like I don't look at it that, like I look at it, I'm doing everyone else's service by being out there. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really here to lift other people up, and we're underdogs in this. Like I wasn't supposed to be successful. I wasn't supposed to win that battle. I wasn't supposed to be an NBA 2K, but I did extra work along the way to get the crumbs. But now we're going to start to take the cake. Yeah. And I feel like I'm in my bag with that. And I just I don't know if I expressed that right, but I feel like people are rallying behind me and they want to see it happen. You know what I mean? And that's why we're getting big stuff. That's why I just started getting the million views now. 2020, I got my first million views. It's almost 2 million with Cascade. So there's a lot of things happening that like from rap to dance tracks to everything across the board. And people want to know your story, right? So if I get 20 people here or 50 people that really like the the story, hopefully they'll rally behind me too. And then, hopefully I find people that I could rally behind as well, and we all do it together.
Yeah, definitely. All right, you ready for some fun questions?
Yeah.
All right, what do you like to do?
Those were fun. They're fun regardless.
What do you like to do in your free time?
Oh, in my free time?
Yeah.
I'm a big runner.
All right.
So like, I like taking runs over the bridge. It's something I've been really, really liking. And like currently, like I'm just every day I do something great for I live in an apartment, but I'm trying to make it a palace. So I'm always buying stuff. So like I'm really getting into plants. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I'm trying to cop these plants, get some greenery in my place. Not the kind you smoke, but the kind you like embrace. And dude, I was thinking of what I say when free time. I don't have free time. I make free time. So like cooking, plants, just esteemable acts that I really like. I like that, like bring me joy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. What about what's your favorite song right now that's not yours?
Oh, her name is Bia. Do you know Bia?
Yeah.
Whole lot of money. Whole lot of money.
Oh yeah,
There's a whole lot of money in a song. Huh?
Yeah, I was on her before she blew up. I'm
I'm
actually supposed to get her on the podcast.
I think she's like blowing up now, but you've had her on the podcast?
No, I'm supposed to get her. Yeah.
Yo, she's dope. My homegirl, I think Maria used to manage her. I don't know if she still does, but I was like dancing into it the other day at a party, and I'm like, bruh, the other day I went to a boat party, and then I randomly walked into like a cowboy themed party, and I was like, yo, and they were playing it. And I was like, this is a cowboy themed party that I went to. And I was like, this song is so good. And I love beating a song to shit, man. Like I'll play it 100 times, 200 times,
Yeah, what was cool, I don't know if you saw her other song, Skate, the NHL just did a collab with her for the playoffs, and she remixed it. So that was dope.
She's been at it, dude. Long time coming, long time coming. So she deserves a shout out to Bia. Yeah, but I love her. Oh my God, dude. I would be
we're definitely clipping this and sending it to her. We're definitely clipping this one.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's a shout out to Bia.
All right. Well, this might go with the last question. Who would be like your dream collabs?
Well, yeah, right. That's what I'll say about Bia. I would love to collaborate with just a lot of dope women. I really like collaborating with women. I think, anyone from, Bia to Kid Cudi to, like if it was underground rap, I would have loved to, collab with Killer Mike or Atmosphere. It's like I love them. But I'm doing a collab with this dude Nassim Black, who's really dope. He's a Black Orthodox Jewish rapper in Jerusalem. And I just in his new video shoot, and this dude I've known him for years, like since 2008. So I get excited to collaborate with people like that. But then like, when you see your friends, Homeboy Sandman, people like that, my boy Flex Matthews, just my friends that I've been doing music side by side with for so long. That's great. But, in the end of the day, like how Bia had her own hit song, that's like exactly what I want. So I just got to keep making the songs. And you know what? It's no one else's fault that I don't have a hit song. It's only my fault. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with that. So I got to keep writing them. And I think I got one, you know what I'm saying? I think I got one. And I always think I got one, but not everyone else thinks they're a hit,
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure you've seen a lot of times where people's songs blow up years later. You never know.
Yeah, dude, like that song I had in a Super Bowl commercial was 4 years old at the time. I made it in 2008,
Yeah.
And that was just the reality of it,
Yeah.
I made it in 2008, bang, it gets out in 2012, and I still send that song out, and we still, if we could sync these old songs, I mean, that's the great thing about music. People could use them forever.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and could you let the listeners know where they can follow you at?
Yeah, man. Kosha Dillz, KOSHADILLZ. My website's koshadillzworld.com. You can follow it on Spotify, Kosha Dillz, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok is Kosha Dillz 826. And if you're interested in getting merch, just go to the Kosha Dillz. That's always great. And there's a Kosha Dillz merch store on the website. But YouTube, it's like clockwork. Kosha Dillz is everywhere on the internet, but that used to be one of my taglines, which I don't like anymore because people think I'm too easily accessible, but I'm in New York. So, say what's up.
Again, I appreciate it.
Yo, average is savage. Nothing less.